introduce myself, please allow me to introduce my extraordinary colleagues, resource teachers for the Avid department. Michelle Thompson-Lloyd, smile and wave. She works with Avid programming with our Avid elementary schools. And the incomparable Christine Ragsdale. There she is, smiling and waving. She works with Avid programming in the Avid secondary schools. So I'm seeing lots of familiar faces, people from Avid schools, some other faces of people who are at non-Avid schools. But of course, we're happy to have you all here. My name is Amy Marr. I'm the Avid director. Okay, first and foremost, we want you to relax, enjoy yourself, get something out of this, even if it's only one new thing. Hopefully it'll be many new things, or a reminder of something you already learned but haven't tried yet. And hopefully that'll push you into trying some things. You guys, whether or not you want to keep your cameras on is totally up to you. I like that most of you have them on. I like that I'm seeing you right now, although when I share my screen, I'm hardly going to see anybody, if anyone at all. As everybody was getting on, I was engaged in a conversation with someone on the screen about the imperfections of this format and how flexible and graceful and patient we've all had to become. This isn't easy. It's getting easier, but it's tough. We're gonna attempt a few, technology type interactive things today. Some that you've probably seen, another that you may or may not have seen. Our fingers are crossed. We've tested things, we've tried things. My fingers are crossed that it all works fine. And if it doesn't, hey, I don't know, we'll try again next time. So I just want to start by asking, just to have a little fun, because last time we did a coffee mug sharing, and I do not have a special coffee mug with me today. However, if there are any risk takers on the call who are sipping their coffee or tea and have a mug that has anything special about it or a short story behind it and you want to share, please do. And Christine Ragsdale, I'm so glad that she just showed her coffee mug, because I'm going to put her on the spot and call on her and ask her to share it again just with a brief description. Let's do a little show and tell.
This is my favorite mug. It is a Life is Good mug. I received it this year for my birthday from my boss. So
Yay!
Thank you, Amy.
I'm so glad she likes it. All right, cool. Any other risk takers who just want to give a 10-second summary about their mug? Unmute yourself, just go for it. Don't worry, just go for it.
I have, it says hot coffee, cool mom from my kids.
Oh, awesome. I'm certain you are a cool mom then. That's good. Any other risk takers who just want to share what they're drinking from?
So mine is a C. My husband thinks it's for our last name, Casaus. I tell him it's for Catherine. Thank you.
Thank you. You guys, thank you for being willing to share. That's just a way to get students engaged, have them share something. It's a nice little icebreaker. It doesn't have to take a lot of time. Okay, so I'm going to give you, Avid loves to do visual celebrations. So my most recent favorite one is what's known as sprinkles. So the 3 risk takers who were willing to share their mugs with everybody this morning, I'm giving you sprinkles, because a few sprinkles on top makes everything a little better. Awesome. Okay, let's get rolling. Michelle, I know you are recording. You're also taking attendance. Any of you who are not registered in Power School, we're still going to note that you're here, and eventually you will be registered in Power School, so you get whatever credit it is that you earn for being in this session. Okay? All right. Before I forget and go on any further, always, always, always in an Avid session, you take notes. Always. So you do need your favorite pen or pencil. You do need a sheet of paper to write on. So if you don't have that already next to you, run and go get it and come right back, because you are going to do note taking and you are going to do some reflective writing. Okay, very first thing, we are going to do an answer garden. This is something that many of you are probably familiar with, but maybe you haven't even tried it with your students yet. So Christine is going to put a link in the chat to our answer garden for the morning to start off today. So what you should be seeing, and I can't see you guys anymore because I'm open in another tab, and then all of you should be open in another tab. What you should be seeing is a prompt that asks, what is your strongest quality or characteristic as a teacher? Type your response, just a 1 or 2 word response, hit submit. And what's supposed to happen is we're supposed to start seeing everybody's responses. If you find you're not seeing responses, just hit the little refresh circle in the top next to the little window where it says answer garden. And let's start getting that filled in. Okay, awesome. I love when things work as intended. I'm starting to see all of your responses. I'm seeing encouraging, empathetic. Oh, that one is so important, isn't it? Patience, creativity, flexibility, consistent, perseverance. Keep putting stuff in. You guys can put more things in. And then hit that refresh circle up at the top if you're not seeing anything new. And you should see you can see new words coming up. I'm hitting refresh, so yep. So now, after I hit refresh, what I'm seeing changed a little bit, and I'm seeing 3 words that are in a much larger font now than some of the other responses. I'm seeing consistent, patience, and empathetic in really big letters. So what that means is multiple people have entered those words, okay? And so those are, more popular answers, for lack of a better term. Okay, that's awesome. An answer garden literally takes about 30 seconds to set up, but it's a great way to gauge what's going on with your kids. You can come up with all kinds of prompts, specific content related prompts, or just prompts to get students engaged in the lesson, bell ringer prompts, relational capacity prompts, anything that you're feeling you want students to respond to. So if you would please tab back over to the Meet so we can all see each other again. And I'm going to go ahead and present so we can start with a PowerPoint for today. Get those pens and paper ready. Get your thinking caps on, because eventually you're going to do some writing. And okay. Now, Christine Ragsdale,
Yes, ma'am.
tell me what you see.
I see your PowerPoint.
Awesome.
Looks good. I love the
Awesome.
drawing.
Yay, it worked. I'm so happy. Okay, now, all right, good. So everybody, today we're going to talk about fostering a growth mindset. This is something that has been developed by a professor at Stanford named Carol Dweck. We'll get into that in a little more detail, but I love the graphic on this opening slide and how, how smoothly we expect things to go with a good plan, but then reality hits, and even with a good plan, lots of obstacles are put in our way. And so in order to not be defeated, a growth mindset is really important, and it's important for us to do this with our kiddos of all ages and all grade levels. So, always with Avid, we have an essential question. It is your responsibility, teachers, to copy this essential question into your notes. So I'll give you about a half a minute to do that. And today's essential question is, how can we use knowledge of the growth mindset to create a classroom environment in which students take academic risks and challenge themselves and each other in their own learning? Give you about half a minute to copy that EQ. How can we use knowledge of the growth mindset to create a classroom environment in which students take academic risks and challenge themselves and each other in their own learning? All right, I'm going to change the slide in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so this research started in 2006. Carol Dweck, who is a professor at Stanford University, published a book called Mindset, The New Psychology of Success. It's based on 30 years of research into how people succeed, and her findings are the basis of her theory of fixed mindset and growth mindset. You guys, as we go through the next few slides, you make a decision based on your own learning style, whether you want to jot some notes, maybe you want to pick out a key term or two from each slide, or just an important phrase, or maybe you really don't want to take notes at all. It's up to you, but for the next few slides, you determine your own learning needs and jot down what you think is most important. So I do want to talk about a recommended book, and this book is not written by Carol Dweck, but it's based on her theory of growth mindset and fixed mindset. There's tons of useful applications, and one of the best ways this book can be used is during advisory classes. Christine, can you guys, am I showing the book? Can you guys see it?
Yes, sorry, I couldn't get off mute. Yes,
Okay,
we see it.
yeah, you should probably just stay off mute, but just be really, really quiet.
Well, there's music in the background.
Oh. All right then. Okay, so I just want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to see the cover of this book. You know what? Next time you're in the school building, those of you who are still doing some work out of the building these days, you might be able to find this book somewhere in your school. It's likely your principal has it, a colleague has it. Maybe there's a, an instructional materials place where teachers can check out stuff. This might already be accessible at your school, but the way it's organized is by months of the school year. And so the contents are August through May, and each chapter builds upon another and is designed to help students with fixed mindsets shift into a growth mindset. So they use failures as ways to push forward and make themselves better versus using failures to give up and think that they're not smart enough to accomplish something. So highly recommended book, and a lot of the content of what we're using today came from that book. All right, fixed mindset. Here's Carol Dweck's definition, and I want Christine Ragsdale to read it aloud for the group.
Fixed mindset, the belief that we're born with a fixed amount of intelligence and ability. People operating in the fixed mindset are prone to avoiding challenges and failures, thereby robbing themselves of a life rich in experience and learning.
Awesome. Thank you for being a risk taker and reading that aloud, Christine. I'm going to leave it up just for a few seconds of wait time, everybody, in case you want to jot down anything in your notes relative to fixed mindset.
Amy, can we share the PowerPoint with teachers if they're interested?
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'll get it into the hub for them for the summit itself. All right, moving on to growth mindset. Michelle, would you be awesome and read this aloud for the group?
Oh, good. You guys, I learned a new word in this too. Growth mindset, the belief that with practice, perseverance, and effort, people have limitless potential to learn and grow. People operating in the growth mindset tackle challenges with aplomb, unconcerned with making mistakes or being embarrassed, focusing instead on the process of growth.
Yeah, so that word aplomb, we had an interesting conversation yesterday regarding that word, because Michelle just very humbly admitted that she learned a new word yesterday. And I kind of giggled because I shared with her that my mother quite often uses the word aplomb, and it basically means just handling a difficult situation with like composure or poise. But there's a new vocabulary opportunity just in case that's not a word you've seen before. All right, we're going to move forward. So here, based on those definitions, here are assumptions made by people with each mindset. And actually, this is a good spot for me to let everybody know. Fixed mindset versus growth mindset, any mindset, you can kind of compartmentalize into different aspects of life. So for example, somebody can really have a growth mindset, say, related to their profession, but might have more of a fixed mindset related to something else, maybe something in their personal life, like a hobby or relationships. So it is possible to function with a combination of both mindsets, but it's important to kind of, compartmentalize those and sort through those, because we always want to push for a shift from a fixed mindset into a growth mindset. So a fixed mindset assumes intelligence and other qualities, abilities, and talents are fixed traits that cannot be significantly developed. Basically, you're born with something or not. And if you're not, this mindset assumes that you're not really going to learn it and get really good at it. Versus growth mindset, which assumes intelligence and other qualities, abilities, and talents can be developed with effort, learning, and dedication. All right, so at this point, just based on what you know now about how each of those mindsets is defined and how people with each of those mindsets make assumptions about themselves and others, we're going to do a quick self-assessment to see where people feel they fall. So Christine is going to share a link in the chat, and we're going to, it's supposed to open a new tab in your window. And Christine, I still can't see you guys, so you'll have to let me know if that, or anybody can actually let me know if that link opens to a slideshow that says fostering a growth mindset with a green brain and a blue brain on it.
Yes,
or
yes.
I need to, okay, so you are seeing that. So Christine, we don't need that code.
We do not need the code.
We do not need the code.
They just put in their name. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, right. I always forget about that part too. So everybody just put in your first name. Once you've perused that first slide, just click the arrow on the right-hand side to advance. And you should see a prompt at the top that says, Based on Carol Dweck's definitions of fixed mindset and growth mindset, I believe I have so make your selection and we'll see where this group is generally falling. I'm going to give it about 10 more seconds because a few people have not responded. I'm seeing a different screen than you are, you guys. So I'm going to give you a little more time. And I'm going to share the results with you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Christine, can you tell me what you guys are seeing?
Yes, we are seeing the graph that's the pie graph, and we've got 91% of this group is growth mindset and about 8% is fixed.
Okay, not surprising at all because we are educators. However, let's see if how we see ourselves is really accurate based on digging a little deeper into growth mindset. Okay, so go ahead and leave the Nearpod, go back to your Meet so that what you're seeing again is the slideshow. So now you should be seeing a slide that says, where do you fall on the mindset spectrum? For each numbered statement, write true or false on your own paper. So this is a reflective piece. Just keep track of your responses on your own paper, and you aren't going to be sharing these with the group at all, okay? This is just for you. So here comes the first statement. Number 1, there are some things I'll never be good at. Is that a true statement for you or a false statement for you? Statement 2, when I make a mistake, I try to learn from it. Statement 3, when others do better than me, I feel threatened. Statement 4, I enjoy getting out of my comfort zone. That's a tough one for a lot of us. Number 5, when I show others I'm smart or talented, I feel successful. Number 6, I feel inspired by the success of others. Statement 7, I feel good when I can do something others cannot. Number 8, it's possible to change how intelligent you are. Number 9, you shouldn't have to try to be smart. You just are or you aren't. And number 10, I enjoy taking on a new challenge or task with which I am unfamiliar. Okay, so take a quick look at your responses, how many trues you have, how many falses you have. This is just a reflective piece because, of course, as the data showed us before, the vast majority of us will assess ourselves in a way where we think we have a growth mindset. That may or may not be true in every aspect of our lives. So these statements, just generally speaking, the odd numbered statements represent mostly a fixed mindset. The even numbered statements mostly represent a growth mindset. So based on how you responded to all of those, maybe a handful of them or one or two of them surprised you in terms of what they really represent. All right. So you've assessed yourselves once based on some knowledge. Then we did some reflection based on some growth and fixed statements. Now you guys are going to do a quick write, and the prompt is on this slide. How can knowledge about growth mindset research impact teachers and students' beliefs about themselves and about achievement and excellence? Okay, before you start and I set the timer, I just want to make sure you know that any of you could be selected at random to share the content of your response. Okay, we're going to randomly select some academic risk takers who are going to share their responses with the group. Okay, this is a 70-second quick write. I'm going to set the time right now, and you guys are ready to go. Ten-second warning. All right, pens and pencils down. Finish your thought. Okay, so at this point, I am going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to come back to the Meet so I can see all of you. And I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Christine Ragsdale, who is going to show you a great tool and strategy for doing some random selection so that students can be sharing their ideas with the rest of the class. So take it over, Christine.
All right, I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you classroom screen today. So classroomscreen.com. Okay, I'm just going to show you these things. Can you see it okay?
Yes, we can see it.
You can see the beach? Yeah.
Yes, I see the beach.
Visualize that for just a moment. Oh.
Yes, I'm...
Okay, so so this is Classroom Screen, and this is just a tool, a digital tool that you can use with your students to randomize selection of either them or questions. So I'm just going to walk you through some of these things. They have several different functions, and so just playing with it is really pretty fun. So you can change the background. This was what I chose. And then you just hit random name. So in the lower left-hand corner, it has this bar at the bottom, and it's going to pop up this box. So I saw several, I'm going to add several names from this group. Catherine with a C. Who else did I see? I think I saw Lynette, is that right? Give me another name. Give me another name. Let's see. Oh, I saw Samantha. Everybody's like, oh, she saw me.
And Jillian
Yes, Jillian.
and
Okay.
Tamara.
Okay, I'm going to cut it off right there. So you add your students' names here, and then just click choose, and it goes through the list of names and lands on one. Okay, cool. So Jane, you were selected. I don't know why you're selected yet. We'll find out. So that could be the first thing. The second thing, you could add another box here. And if it's an activity where it's still, you know, finding commonalities, getting to know you, then it could be some questions. I went ahead and I have a list of questions here, and I'm going to choose this question. So Jane, if you can be a risk taker today. Oh, this was my favorite question too. What do you want to do in retirement?
In retirement, I want to sell my house and buy an RV and travel the United States when COVID is over, because I don't want to get sick.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for being a risk taker. So, you know, this is something, again, it's random selection of students. You could use it for a quiz. So these could be quiz questions of the content that you covered in the class that day. This could be an entry or exit ticket for students where, you know, each one of them needs to answer at least one question. There could be reflection prompts. There could also be debrief prompts of the information you covered in the class.
Oh my gosh. You could have students drop in questions at the beginning of the week in a little box,
Yeah.
and then you could put them in the little scrolly thing so they could be the ones who ask the questions. Sorry, it just came to me.
Yes. So maybe we should do this again. Let's have another risk taker. We're going to go through this again, and it lands on Tamara. And yes.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I just do want some of these randomly selected people to share their quick write.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot about that part. Okay, so Tamara, if you're a risk taker and would like to share your quick write, we would love to hear it.
I think she got kicked out of the meeting.
Okay, thank you. I'll hit it again. Who will it be? Samantha. Samantha, would you mind sharing your quick write?
Yes, mostly what I got down was, well, what I do, because I do a lot of growth mindset in my classroom, is it's okay to make mistakes. Like, that's what I try to really get across. And I'm a math teacher, so they really think that they have to know it, but I got to let them know it's okay to make those mistakes.
Exactly. Thank you. Do you want me to do one more, Amy?
Yes, let's do one more so we can hear some reflection about that prompt.
Okay. Tara. Tara, could you share your quick write?
Yes. So my first thought was just to get a better understanding of how I process my growth mindset, because I feel like I have growth mindset in some areas, but not in others. So if I can understand the difference, then I can help my students to better understand their differences when it comes to school versus home, and how they can get a growth mindset in more areas.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Yeah, I think we all are a combination of both, you know, fixed and growth, and it just varies as far as when that crops up. All right. Amy, did you want me to show any more of these things, or just you need to move on?
Oh yeah, show a couple more, a couple of the ones we looked at yesterday. Yeah, they're fun.
All right, so we have so this, I can't see what this is. Oh, you can add pictures. So from the web, there's a timer. There's actually about 3 different timers on this. I was always looking for timers in the classroom. So there's a stopwatch, there's a clock, there's a calendar that you can post, and you guys can talk about, you know, a specific time or due date. There's this one. I love this one as far as maybe students are working on an activity and you're timing it, but you're timing it with the red light, green light. So green, they're working, they're getting close to the end, it goes to yellow, and then they need to stop their activity and you bring them back. So it has many different things. Oh yeah, this one too. So this is a dice. So if you're looking for a certain number, and instead of using their names, maybe they're numbered already, and you can roll the dice and find randomly who goes next, or the question and that number that relates to that question. So there's a lot of ways to use this, and it's just a fun tool. And you know anything like this, it's not a lot. It's also pretty low prep, and it will help them with engagement, because then they're looking to see, you know, what's this going to look like and what's going to be next. So all about the engagement.
Awesome. Thank you for showing us those fun tools, Christine. The strategies for selecting students to respond randomly is really important. And so we always try to give you guys some tools and strategies for being able to do that, because students should be accountable for sharing their ideas, okay, being able to express themselves. But having strategies for random selection eliminates that inadvertent thing that we've all done as teachers, where we're having one student answer a lot of questions, not calling upon a certain group of other students because they never raise their hand or never make eye contact or never turn their camera on, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so something Tara said was really important when she was sharing her reflection about knowing more about how your own mindsets in order to coach students. So what we're going to do now is go to a Padlet, and Christine's going to share the link to this Padlet in the chat. And so we're going to hop over again to another tab, you guys. And if you reach this Padlet successfully, we'll give you a few seconds to get there. But if you reach it successfully, you should see a prompt at the top that says, when students make the following statements, what can you coach them to say instead? So this is like coaching some more positive self-talk. Go ahead and put an alternative statement there. These are all fixed mindset statements that students will make. Oh, I love all the people who are using the word yet. Just adding the word yet can turn a fixed mindset statement into a growth mindset statement. All right, I'm seeing some good responses. Rather than saying I'm not good at this, if students are trained to say practice makes progress, I love that. That switch from practice makes perfect to practice makes progress. That means we're always working towards something. You guys are coming up with some really great alternatives to these fixed mindset statements. On your own screen, kind of scroll through. You can click on the little heart to give another statement a like, if that really resonates with you. I like the alternative under I give up. You can coach students to say, I'm not giving up yet. I want to try this over again. I love that.
Yeah, I think Amy, and you're right. So this is helping them change their language.
Change their own language.
Their own language. And so we often want to jump in and rescue them. No, you are really smart, you know, but it's helping them see themselves in a different way. And when they start to change their language, that really does start to change that maybe fixed mindset into more of a growth mindset.
Exactly. So this can be tough. This can be tough to really help students shift their own language. It's going to take a lot of time. But that self-talk that represents a growth mindset is really important. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for your engagement with this activity. If you're still typing a statement, please finish what you're doing so that we can have those up there. But then if you're finished contributing your statements, go ahead and jump back to the meet. We are on track for some pretty good timing today because that leads us to the final activity so we can wrap it up. Go back to that essential question you copied in your notes. Go back to that essential question, and I'm going to ask you to do something that if you've ever been in PD with me before, this is a task I often ask my group of learners to do, to wrap something up at the very end. And it's a great thing to ask students of all ages to do. Based on that essential question, summarize something you've learned today in 7 words. A 7-word sentence, but we want to share with each other. We want to see what you come up with. So when you finish your 7-word sentence, put it in the chat. Take your time. 7 words, a 7-word sentence, it's a little more challenging than you might assume at the very beginning. And you can't just list 7 words. It's got to be a full statement, a complete thought. Give it a try. I know that I can learn anything. There's a growth mindset statement right there if I ever heard one. Keep putting them in there, you guys. Encourage students to think, I've got this. That's good. People are getting sprinkles for their responses. That's awesome. Keep putting them in there. Don't let your mind limit your growth. I love it. I love it. That's a very creative statement, and it's so true. And it is in direct response to our essential question today. And it's exactly 7 words. Understanding mindsets informs the receptiveness to learning. For sure. Keep students accountable for sharing their thoughts. So true. So true. Oh, yep, Christine's giving a round of applause on that one. Growth happens with positive self-talk daily. Good growth mindset is worth the effort. You guys are awesome learners. I really enjoyed seeing you today and spending this time with you. I hope it's been a great summit for you, and I know you have other sessions to attend the rest of the day. I appreciate your willingness to be risk takers and all your participation. So if you're ready, because you have submitted your seven-word summary, you can hang up. If you want to hang out with us a little bit to ask any questions about our resources or anything like that, we'll hang out for a little while. But you guys, that's our time for today. So thank you so much. Have a great rest of the summit, okay?
Amy, I have a question.
Ask away. I hope I can answer.
Okay, so I'm Annette from Tres Volcanes, and we are newly implementing Avid. So we right now have a core team of elementary and middle school teachers that have gone through the PATH training, and we were scheduled, of course, to go to the Summer Institute. But I was wondering, now we've been kind of working with teachers on using some of the strategies outside of the core team, of course. And we've really been talking a lot about notes and note taking, and also just some of the organizational type stuff. Is it possible for us to get all of our teachers access to my Avid, or it is? Okay.
Yep, absolutely. That's one of the benefits of your membership as an Avid school. And so if you would like for that to happen, all you have to do is send me teacher names in an email and request account creation for those teachers, and I can take care of that for you.
Awesome. Okay, I'll work on that. Thank you so much.
No problem. Good to see you.
Thank you for the ideas today.
Of course.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. It was
Thank
wonderful
you for being here.
Appreciate you.
Your
Bye.
faces.
Stay safe, stay healthy.
Hey, Michelle, I think you can stop recording.
Oh, yeah.